Do you ever find yourself saying, this is the last time, but then a few hours later, you're back at it? Maybe you've deleted your history, promised yourself that you'd stop, but somehow you keep coming back. If that's you, listen up. You might not just be watching porn, you're probably addicted. And before you say, nah, I can stop anytime, let's put that to the test, because today I'm breaking down 7 signs you're addicted to porn, and more importantly, on how to fix it. Because if you don't get this under control, your life, including your job, your business, your career, your children, your wife, will be down the drain. And I've been there, so let's get into it. You keep telling yourself you'll quit, but you never quit. You told yourself this is the last time, but somehow you always come back to it. That's because your brain is hooked on the dopamine rush. And the more you try to resist without a plan, the stronger the urge gets. That's not self-control, that's addiction. So the dopamine in your brain, it gets released like clockwork. It's being released when you're watching porn, you're masturbating at the same time. It's almost like taking heroin. I've never done it, but I've read studies that it's very, very similar to that, or cocaine. And your brain just releasing massive amounts of dopamine that's not normal. Normal dopamine that's not normal. So number 2 is when you need more constant and intense content to feel the same excitement. Have you ever noticed what used to excite you doesn't hit the same anymore? So if you keep searching for more extreme content, longer sessions, or even riskier material, that's tolerance. Just like with drugs, your brain adapts to this. And it's forcing you to chase bigger highs to feel anything. I was there. So I would look at very vanilla content, then I would go to extreme content, then I would go to as far as acting out with people. And my brain started to really adapt to this. And this is why getting off porn is so difficult. It took me over hundreds, thousands of tries to stop totally stop. And it took me years to figure out, from rehab to meetings, and I finally found a system that worked for me. But that's what happened. I went from vanilla content to extreme, very extreme, to real life acting out, and it was not good. And this brings me to number 3. You feel numb, guilty, and depressed after watching porn. So, you know the feeling. That wave of emptiness. After it's over, you were chasing pleasure this whole time, but now you feel drained mentally, emotionally, physically. That's because excessive porn use, it hijacks your brain's reward system. So it's leaving you feeling disconnected instead of satisfying. So normal people who aren't addicted to porn, they go out, they go for a nice long run. They can work out really good, eat healthy, they meditate. But us addicts, something goes off in our brain when we keep watching the same material and start becoming, our brain's very adaptive when it switches environments, and it can switch your brain, porn. And it's tricking you into saying it's okay to watch it, when in reality, it's not okay. That's the power of your mind trying to mess with you. And you feel empty. Like, you're just like, what am I doing? What's going on? And I felt the same way. I would watch the porn, and after I was done, I would be like, what am I doing? But then I would crave it again an hour later. It was just this hamster wheel. Number 4, you choose porn over real relationships. So, porn is very easy. You can access it on your phone. You can go look at OnlyFans. You can go to any website, Pornhub, Xvideos, whatever. And it's like that. You can get it. No rejection, no effort, just instant gratification. But over time, it rewires your brain to avoid real intimacy. Keyword, real, 2 keywords, real intimacy. You might find yourself less interested in dating, feeling awkward around real women, or even struggling in relationships because porn has become your main source of pleasure. Now, this totally relates to me because I didn't date anyone. I did, but it was very short-lived. I was cheating on my girlfriend that was for 17 years. I was cheating on her behind her back. I was very, very secretive. And every relationship I had, it never worked out. Nothing worked out. Because why? Because I avoided the intimacy. I was avoidant. I was an avoidant personality disorder. So I would avoid these uncomfortable, intimate relationships. I didn't know how to process my emotions. So instead, I would avoid it. I would avoid those emotions with porn. Again, this is just the symptom. This goes deeper. The porn is the problem is a much deeper issue. So avoiding intimacy, that was me. I was an avoidant. And I think most of us are avoidants. We have avoidant personalities, or probably anxious avoidant personality disorders. And this brings me to number 5. You use porn to escape stress, anxiety, or boredom. This was me. Again, I'll go into that. Had a stressful day, are you feeling down? Instead of dealing with it, you turn to porn for that quick hit of dopamine. But here is the problem. The more you rely on porn to escape, the worse your problem gets. It's a cycle, one that keeps you stuck. And it's very, 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 very difficult to get unstuck. So you're on this hamster wheel and you just keep going. But you have to jump out and stay out and not come back in. So I had bad anxiety. I had extreme anxiety when I was younger. And this is what I would do. Avoidance, anxiety, go together, boom. I would avoid my real life responsibilities and problems with porn. Stress. I would put myself down during school. A test during the day, let's go masturbate in the bathroom. Let's go masturbate during the test in the bathroom, and then go watch porn afterward in the bathroom. This was going on in college. It was just insanity. And this brings me to number 6. Your productivity and motivation are crashing. This was me in college. No motivation, no productivity, but I was able to get things done, but through a double life. So you start your day with goals. You hit the gym, you work on your business, you study for school, you have plans with your children, whatever it is that you have. You want to get things done. But somehow hours disappear and you're left with regret. Porn rewires your brain to seek instant gratification, killing your ability to focus, stay disciplined, and chase long-term success. Now, when I was in college, in high school, and after college, in my first job, and then my master's program, I was able to do all that. I was in a job, but I was taking Adderall, tons of it, and Vyvanse, and cocaine, and I was also living a totally different life. I was going to escorts and looking at porn. Later on that night during the weekend, I would stay up till 3 a.m, and I was not at my peak potential at the time. I thought I was. I was like, oh, I'm doing great. Like, I got my master's. Like, like, my other part of my mind was telling me, you're doing fantastic. Don't worry. This is how you reward yourself. You can go look at porn and have some sex, That's not it. That's your mind totally tricking you into believing that looking at porn, acting out sexually with random people is the right thing to do, when it's not. So this comes to number 7. You feel like you've lost control. The biggest sign, you feel powerless. What do they say in step 1 of the 12 steps? I'm powerless over my addiction. My everything has become unmanageable. I forget the exact word, but I've become powerless. My life has become unmanageable. Maybe you tell yourself you're in control, but deep down, you're not. And if you keep going down this road, it only gets harder to break free. So the question is, are you ready to take back control? This is the biggest step. So, all right, now you know the signs. Let's talk about solutions. Quitting isn't about willpower. It's about rewiring your brain and replacing bad habits with better ones. Here's where to start. First of all, you want to identify the triggers. What situations make you crave porn? Is it boredom, stress, late nights alone? Once you know your triggers, you can break the pattern before it starts. So number 2, you want to replace porn with real dopamine boosters. Your brain craves dopamine, and you can feel it too. Once you become self-aware, you can feel this. Instead of giving it cheap hits, replace porn with cheap, with real dopamine. Exercise, a cold shower, meditation, deep work. These rebuild your discipline synapses in your brain and make you feel stronger, not weaker. Number 3, you want to block access to add friction. So you want to make it harder to relapse. Block the sites, delete the apps, keep your phone out of your bedroom. The more friction you add, the easier it gets to quit. Number 4, you want to develop a higher purpose. And this is what I help my clients with, actually. The fastest way to beat an addiction is obsess over something bigger than yourself, whether it's fitness, a business, or a personal goal. When you're focused on growth, you don't have time for porn. Like, you just don't. Your mind, you'll know automatically, like, you just don't have the time to do it. And number 5, you want to get support. Again, this is where I come in. Shame thrives in secrecy, and the moment you open up, whether it's to a mentor or a coach like me, or in a community, you take the first step to real change. There's nothing weak about asking for help. So here's the deal. You don't have to stay trapped. You don't have to keep living on autopilot. The power to quit is already inside of you. You just have to take action. Drop a comment below if this resonated with you. Let's start a conversation. And if you're serious about breaking free, hit subscribe to my channel because you're just getting started and I would love to help you.